It is ladies' night. It's actually equal pay day. And no, this is not a holiday that Bernie Sanders made up, although it kind of sounds like it. Today represents how far into 2018 the average woman would need to work to catch up to what a man earned last year. According to the most recent census data, women earn about 80 cents for every dollar men make. But according to a Harvard University study, the primary cause of this pay gap is, you guessed it, motherhood. So does this holiday address the real issues causing a gender pay gap? Let me ask Hadley Heath Manning. She is the Independent Women's Forum Director of Policy. Hadley, welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Kennedy.
So HBO, as you know, they're looking into certain contracts to try and fix some pay disparity that they have over at their network. But there is a caveat. What is it?
Well, the spokesperson for HBO said they were eliminating any, quote, inappropriate disparities in pay. And of course, the implication there is that sometimes there are appropriate reasons that there are pay disparities between different groups of workers. And in this case, we're talking about men and women. Yes, the national wage gap statistic, it's sort of interesting, but it doesn't tell us a lot about workplace discrimination. That's the thing we should all be most concerned about, because the wage gap statistic doesn't take into account the number of hours that men and women work, the different professions we enter, the different levels of seniority, experience, education. All of these things, of course, influence how much men and women are paid.
And also, you know, what HBO is saying is that in the past, maybe they have engaged in inappropriate pay disparity. Isn't that illegal?
That is illegal. You know, my first reaction to this story was, good for you, HBO. What year is it? It's 2018. There should be no inappropriate disparities in pay. There should be no workplace discrimination, because wage discrimination has been illegal since 1963. The Equal Pay Act and, of course, the Civil Rights Act protect women in this country from wage discrimination. Those are things we ought to celebrate. We shouldn't get too worried about Equal Pay Day, because every day in the U.S. should be Equal Pay Day.
Absolutely. And it's really interesting that celebrities and high-profile people in entertainment get behind this holiday when, in fact, there's huge pay disparity in entertainment, and particularly in film.
That's right. Some of the most high-profile cases we see of, what looks like wage discrimination, at least, take place in show business in Hollywood. Of course, there's going to be market factors that drive those disparities, but Hollywood has a lot to answer for here. They aren't really the model for equal pay.
No, they're not. They do make tons of money, and it makes for an interesting story. But even Hillary Clinton didn't pay the women in her Senate office as much as she paid the men. Are we making headway? Yes, in some ways. And women need to be more assertive in asking for pay raises and making sure they stand up and advocate for themselves. But as you've said, it's a very complex issue. And thank you so much for laying out the case. Hadley Heath Manning, thanks again.